Hello, today we're going to be looking at positions and finding out how you can play a fork. So, if you haven't already, watch the fork lesson video and the fork identification video so you can have a better idea of what a fork really is and how you can play one. And I make these videos in a specific order for a reason. So, let's get started. So, here's the answer to last week's puzzle where white was forking black and you had to find out how. So the answer to that was that the queen on g4 was forking the d7 king and the h3 rook. Now, the king has to move because it's in check, and when it does move, the queen will be able to capture the rook. And white will be a rook up, and with proper play, he'll win the game. Or she'll, depending on who's playing white. So let's move on to our first position, which is this. White can fork black, and you have to find out how in 30 seconds. Remember, you can always pause the video if you need more time, and your time starts now. Time is up. The correct move is bishop to d7. Check. Now, the bishop is checking the king and attacking the rook at the same time. So now the king has to move because it's forced. And then, once the king moves, the bishop will capture the rook, and with proper play, white will win the game. Let's move on to our next position where black can fork white, and you have to find out how. You can always pause the video if you need more time, but your 30 seconds starts now. Time is up. The correct move is knight to g3. Check. Now the king is in check, so the king has to move, and the knight will happily capture the queen, since it's a fork, and the king and the queen are attacked. So when the king moves, the queen will be captured. So let's move on to the next position where white can fork black, and you have to find out how in 30 seconds. You can always pause the video if you need more time, but your 30 seconds starts now. So time is up, and the correct move is knight to h6 check. This is forking the king and the queen, so when the king moves, the queen will be captured by the knight. Note that the bishop on g7 cannot capture the knight on h6 because it is pinned. Do you remember what those are? If not, I suggest you watch the pins lesson video. But the bishop is pinned by the queen on g2, so if the bishop were to move, the king would be in check. And since this is an absolute pin, there is absolutely no chance that the bishop could move in this position, meaning that the knight on h6 is not attacked it's not hanging. Well, it kind of is hanging, but nothing's attacking it. So the king will move and the queen will be captured. And with proper play, white will win this game. Let's move on to the next position. So here's the next position, and it's black to play. Black can fork white, and you have 30 seconds starting now. Time is up. The correct move was e4. This is a fork because it's forking the bishop on d3 and the knight on f3. The pawn is attacking both, and if the bishop captures the pawn, then the pawn on d5 will capture the e4, the bishop on e4. So that's a loss of 2 points, as you learned in the point values video. So that wouldn't be very smart, although it is the best move, since otherwise you're going to lose 3 points. And we also have nowhere for the bishop to move except e2 and f1. And the knight can't move anywhere except for d4, which isn't too bad of a square, h2, or g1. So, really, there's no good move in this position. And black is going to be winning after winning a minor piece. Okay, here's the next position where white can fork black. And you have 30 seconds. You can always pause the video if you need more time. But your 30 seconds starts now. Time is up. The correct move is knight to d6, check. Now the king is in check and the rook is attacked by the knight. So when the king moves, the knight will capture the rook, and with proper play, white can win. So you might think otherwise, but not every fork has to have a king as a part of it. But it's the most effective way if the king is a part of the fork, because then it's check. And it's going to be really hard to combat that. Whereas if a king is not part, then you can choose either piece to lose. And sometimes a fork could benefit you, but a king doesn't always have to be part of a fork. So, your turn. You have to find out what the fork is in this position, and you have to play the fork. It's black to play, by the way, and the answer will be in next week's video. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. If you have any feedback, you can post it in the comments or in the form in the description of all videos. The form is completely anonymous, so I won't know who filled it out. Please hit that like button, subscribe for more videos like this one, because it takes a lot of time and effort to make these videos, and you have no idea how long it takes me to make these puzzles and stuff. And you can visit Chess Playlist to see all the chess videos. And thanks for watching, and good